Welcome.
right?
Yep.
So hopefully this is all working. Let's see. All right. Hi, camera. So weird to be on film. Okay. So what are you drinking?
I am having Breathe Easy tea. It is my favorite tea I drink every morning.
What's the brand?
It's a good question. Traditional method.
Hmm.
I don't know, but it's like eucalyptus and mint.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not a eucalyptus fan.
I don't taste eucalyptus.
Okay,
It's
that's good.
mostly mint, but it,
Okay.
it gives you a little like in your stomach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only because I just think of the tree when I'm drinking it. And I'm like, there's just no way I can do it. I don't know.
Yes.
Okay. I am drinking, what is this? Yogi. It's the honey chai.
Ooh,
Yeah.
fancy.
Yeah. I'm
I
excited.
don't know if I've tried that honey chai.
It's really good. I feel like I like the Yogi. I'm learning to like the brand because I feel like it's more pungent.
Yes.
Like the Celestial, I love them, but I don't know that they're as pungent as I enjoy. So I'll like double down on my tea bag. So, all right. So let's get us started. So today is Tuesday, January 2026. What's the date today? The 13th. Is that lucky?
13?
That's got to be lucky.
It's very lucky.
Okay. So we're here in Oakdale. Tell me tell me, what are you up to, Shari? Today is our first day of our podcast. Tell me how you're feeling.
I'm excited. Are
Okay.
you excited?
I'm nervous.
Oh,
Like I'm
yes.
really nervous.
Yes. I think that's only natural. Today, I was thinking about how I was excited for 2026 and not knowing what was coming. And I'm just excited to chat and kind of see where this goes.
Yeah, absolutely. Same thing. It's kind of like what I was thinking earlier was, well, this ought to be interesting because it's something I've wanted to do for so long, and I'm so excited to have found you because I think in a lot of ways it's neat that we're doing this because I know you. I really don't know you so
I know
well.
you, but I don't know you.
Yeah,
It's true.
but that's okay too. Like I like that our friendship is kind of like that, where I don't feel like I don't know you, but I feel like I don't know you, and like there's still so much to learn.
Mhm.
It feels new and refreshing. Okay, I'm gonna start us off today with my favorite question, just to get us going.
Ooh.
What are you reading?
Oh my gosh. So I'm actually really excited you asked me this because I just finished a book that is coming out in March that I'm very excited about. And I already told you about it, but I didn't tell anybody else about it. And it's called The Glittering Skies. And it is like a new to me genre that is contemporary romance set in a fantasy world. And so you have like all these fantasy characters, gargoyles and dragon taxis, but it's like contemporary where they're wedding photographers and they're falling in love and there's forced proximity and there's like the miscommunication trope, which I normally don't like, but I love in it. And I
Okay.
just finished it and I gave it 5 stars, but it also gets really steamy,
Okay.
which I did not see coming because
Okay.
it's a slow burn,
Okay.
but 5 stars.
Once it gets there.
Yeah. And now I just finished that. And now I'm starting our February book club.
Yeah.
Sparrows. Shields
Yeah.
of Sparrows.
Shield of Sparrows.
I just started that. I'm like
Devony Perry.
an hour or two into that.
Are you audioing?
Now I'm reading.
Okay, you're reading?
Yep.
I also just started that.
I like it.
I really like it, but I also took a break from fantasy for a while,
Mm.
which is funny because you're talking the book you're talking about. It's kinda like a transitional for getting back into fantasy if you've taken a step back, I think,
Yep.
because it doesn't feel too heavy.
Yeah.
I was talking to someone the other day, and they were like, I feel like I have to pay attention too much when reading fantasy." And I can understand how people feel like that, and it can feel too heavy, so the contemporary, but everything in my brain plays like a movie, so when you're telling me this story about what'd you say, gargoyle taxis?
Yes. No, they're dragon taxis.
Dragon
They're
taxis.
called taxis.
Because so they're on a dragon
Yes.
flying,
Yes.
and that they gotta get on the dragon?
Yes, because their world is on top of like a cloud. It's very wild.
Oh.
But it's fun.
Yeah.
And I agree. Fantasy can get really heavy and really world building. And for me, it was just this like light, no pun intended, because we're on clouds,
Yeah.
light puff of air where everybody's like witty banter and cracking jokes.
Okay.
Loved.
Love that. That's literally my favorite. If
Yeah.
there's not banter, I kind of am like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I wanna keep reading
Dialogue
it.
is so important.
Yeah, or just, like, the joy of laughing out loud while reading, even when it's something partially serious, 'cause I can read serious, but I even like it when it's, like, a drama book, and then there's, like, someone says something with some humor, and I'm like, "Ha!" Like, nothing makes me laugh more than dark humor.
Yeah. Or when you want to tell somebody. That's the thing that gets me. My, like, favorite behind the books thing is if I'm reading something and I really want somebody else to read it because
Yeah.
it's, like, getting me so much. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is my favorite."
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that's one of my favorite feelings. Oh, man. Okay, so, well, you said that about the dragons, and so I went on a brain tangent, and my head was like, I heard you say dragon taxis, and then I was like, gargoyle taxis, and then I went all the way back to, circa 1998, and I was thinking of Halloween Town when they had, like, the skeleton taxis and stuff
Oh,
like that.
yeah.
But now that you say dragon taxis, all I can think is it are they big dragons?
I don't know, they're
I
not
have
really
s
described very much.
I have to read it now
But
'cause
I
I have so
hear in
many
book
follow-up
2
questions.
because it's like a trilogy. She
Okay,
obviously hasn't come out. The first one hasn't come out yet, but I hear in book 2, the main characters are the owners of the dragon taxis. Whether or not they're dragons themselves or not, I don't know,
okay,
but it's like this whole world where
okay.
they're like
And main
other things
characters
happening.
are mythical creatures?
Yeah,
Okay.
because, well, for this one, it was a gargoyle and a glitterite. She's like
Glitterite?
glitter veins,
Okay.
half glitterite and half siren. So it's this whole extra element to it where she's kind of taboo, which is kind of fun because
Yeah.
you get in the idea of, making parallels with modern day times and people because of who they are, what they look like, being treated differently. And she's treated differently because she has a branded stamp because she's a siren and they stamp babies
Oh, okay.
as
Like,
a
kinda like the
siren
A?
when they're born. Yeah.
You gotta walk around with your A on you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so she's kinda, like, got this vibe of people being like, love her but hate her.
Okay.
It's wild.
Okay, that's so fun.
It's really fun.
Okay,
Great
so
world
this
building.
this is good too because this taps into you do read quite a few arcs, is that not correct?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so this was an arc. Tell me how you found this particular author because you told me about her. I was able to find her. We connected, but I want to know your process and how you got into it as well.
Yeah. So I started reading ARCs, gosh, I don't even know how many years ago, a long time ago, 2019, maybe 2020, I don't know.
Okay.
And on NetGalley,
Okay.
which is a place that you can go and request books and receive ARCs. But with her, I found her on Instagram because she did this reel about her book and how she was comparing herself to Abby Jimenez, but in a fantasy setting, which I actually haven't read any Abby Jimenez, but I
Okay.
really love Laugh Out Loud, Sophie Cousins. She does what's that book? You have it probably. Ugh, can't think of the name. But anyway,
Yeah.
so I she has, like, only a few hundred followers, and so it's not like she's a really well-known person, but her reel was so funny, laugh out loud,
Yeah.
and you and I always talk about the genuine authenticity that
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, I like her," so I
Yeah.
just submitted for her arc, and she approved me, and I'm so glad she did
Yeah.
because I have no idea. We probably got connected because I follow other
Book
book
talkers. Okay. So
I
like
mean,
other,
not on TikTok, but on Instagram.
yeah.
Bookstagrammers.
Yeah.
There you go, there's the word.
Yeah. Because you and
'Cause
me are
she's
both
this.
not on TikTok.
Nope,
No, we're not TikTokers.
never been a TikToker.
And I will never be a TikToker.
I don't know if I wanna be.
Yeah. I just,
I already have enough just with trying to, like, keep
yeah.
myself balanced with screen time and not screen time and another social media outlet at the moment. But a lot of them share on Instagram and TikTok. So,
Yeah.
anyway, long story short, I follow a lot of people that share about their books because I'll listen to them or I'll follow authors
Okay.
because I either have read their books or I'll follow publishers because I want to know what's coming out and I want to keep continuing doing illustrations for book covers.
Yeah,
So,
okay. Do you use that opportunity when you're reading some arcs, you're discovering authors,
mm,
you're also, an artist, you've done book covers, you've done books, the artwork for books. Do you ever is that how you make some of your connections? Is that how you try to connect with authors? Or have you found that as a book author, illustrator, people come to you first?
good question. I got into it before I ever dreamed about illustrating book covers.
Okay.
I got into it because I was just reading like 100 books a year, and I
Wow.
was, like, really in the thick of, motherhood and young little kids, and there was a lot going on in the world, and so I just started reading a lot, and I was spending money on books, and here's something for
Too
free,
much money.
and,
Yeah.
I can read it, and I can get enjoyed and just kind of escapism of
Yeah.
reading things. But now it's kind of this fun full circle moment of, wow, authors or publishers can reach out to me. I love reading their book.
Yeah.
Now I can create. I haven't reached out to anyone personally that I followed to
Okay.
see if I could illustrate for them. But I think it's all just part of this community of like, I enjoy your work, so I'm going to share it regardless of whether or not it's coming back to
Oh,
me,
for sure, for sure.
you
Absolutely.
know?
Yeah, I think that's fun though, because I honestly, like, one of the things I love about you is your work. So I love everything you've done. I think I've told you this before, but, I just think would be so cool, like, that's such a cool segue too, and also, like, it could be a really good way because I think NetGalley's the nice thing about NetGalley, if anybody's ever heard of it or understands it, is they really utilize the platform to not have to publish printed books, I think is, like,
Mhm.
kinda where they're going with it, I could be wrong, but what I found is they give a lot more e-readers, it gets it to people who are actually reading, and also I feel like it gets it to the right hands. For instance, they don't just approve every book you get, I know that that's what I found. As a bookseller, I get a little bit more on NetGalley when I do them, but I think that's just because 'cause I'm a bookseller and they want me to sell more books, but it is interesting. I've seen people, like, they can't get certain books, especially if it's, like, not necessarily up their or their genre,
Mhm.
because NetGalley's really trying to get the right books in the right hands so they
Yeah.
can review it and make it well known through that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I love that platform. Have you gotten any paper arcs in
Not
your
yet.
time? Like, just in general, from your
Nope.
no.
I did have one person reach out and then she offered a paper or an e-reader and then I just took it on their e-reader too
Yeah.
because the thing about a lot of those books is there's two situations. There's one where I've literally never heard of this person before and I'm just see the cover and I read the blurb and I think that's kind of fun and I want to
Mhm.
try it. The other situation is I had previously read something by that author, and then they reach out to me via email and say like, "Hey, we saw you liked this.
Yeah.
You've been approved if you wanna read their next book in the series kinda coming out." And so there's different situations happening, but a lot of the times it's just me going in there and looking through what's new and what's coming, what have a lot of people, like,
Yeah.
seen.
Yeah.
So,
So you said you used to read do you still read 100 books a year?
the last few years I've cut down to, like, 60-ish, 50, 60. I know,
Yeah.
which is silly,
Well,
but
in my brain though, because I know you have a history as a lawyer, which I literally only imagine that's all you do is read, and it's gotta
yeah.
be so much more
I did
boring.
not read a lot when I was in law school
No,
beyond
I meant, like, that's your, like,
the
reading
job. Yeah.
yeah, job text.
Mhm.
My mom was a loan officer, and it'd be, like, packets this thick of
Yeah.
banking documents,
Mm.
so I could only imagine in the legal, it would be packets this thick of
Yeah.
just probably gibberish compared to great literary
It's
fiction.
not fun.
Yeah, so
Pretty
but do
tiring.
you feel like that's kinda what have you always been a fast reader? Because that seems like a lot to me. I know, I have some great friends who read a ton, and their read I mean, you think about it, 52 weeks in a year, that's possibly 52 books, 1 per week or more, right? So that's like
Something
I'm mathing
like
my
that.
brain.
Yeah,
So
you have
you do 100, so that's possibly
I'm not that fast,
2.5
but yes.
a week if you're doing 100, right?
Yep.
So I don't even read that much.
So, when I was reading 100, I wasn't working as much full time, and it was a lot of, like, time I'd read a little bit in the morning before the kids got up. I'd read a little bit during their nap time, and then I'd
Yeah,
read at night. Now, I really only have time to read in the evenings. And so it's a lot less
yeah.
and a lot less for me, but I don't really watch TV,
Mhm.
so I read. And if I have, like, extra time on the weekends, I'm either outside, maybe listening, like, going on walks and listening to an audiobook,
Okay.
and I do listen to audiobooks. Sometimes I'll put an audiobook on while I'm illustrating, but I can't do it when I'm doing other work on the computer, so I
Mhm.
think that's kinda how it happens. And also, when I was reading 100, I wasn't doing as much fantasy, and it was a lot of historical romance,
Uh-huh.
which were shorter books.
Right.
Um, Now that I'm doing more fantasy books, yeah, they're 700, 800 pages, so
Yeah.
the page count might have remained the same, but there's less books.
Yeah. I can't even imagine what it'd be like to read a fantasy that was 350 pages. I'd feel like I'm just lacking. I think it's a hard thing for people who want like, right now, fantasy is obviously ridiculously popular,
Mhm.
but I think it's hard for people who wanna get back into reading because 'cause they're like, "Here, read" Fourth Wing or A Court of Thorns and Roses. And oh, by the way, like I was talking to a lady the other day, love Sarah Maas, but it's like you gotta be able to endure 700 pages of nothing to get to 100 pages of everything. And I just feel like for a lot of people, that's so overwhelming.
Yeah.
But I think, how long was the book you just read?
I don't know, because
Okay.
it was on an e-reader,
Okay.
and
We'll
I
have to
I
circle back and
feel
you could
like it
tell me
was
how it is.
shorter, though. It
Yeah.
was, I think, like 6 or 7 hours versus some that I read that are, like, 13 hours, you know what I
Okay.
mean? So, for me, it took me about 4 days.
Okay. Yeah. I've also never heard anyone talk about books in form of time.
Well, because a lot of time I'm reading, like, on my Kindle,
Okay.
and because I get downloads like that, or if I'm reading books for book club, or if someone gifted it, then it's paperback. But if it's through, like, there's a lot of new authors that I don't necessarily want to invest in that I'll
Uh-huh.
read on my e-reader, and so I think of those in, like, percentages and time.
Okay, how does that wait, does it do it on your Kindle?
Yeah,
Okay,
it
so
has,
it'll
like,
tell you,
"You
like,
have
how.
this many hours left." I
Okay,
know I
okay.
have about 2 hours based on the time that I'm reading, and it's funny too because you were saying, and I was thinking about it, that I don't feel like a fast reader at all.
Yeah.
I think some readers, people who read, I can hear myself speaking
Uh-huh.
in my head,
You're, like,
and
reading the entirety of it?
instead of, like, what was it, like, I think my kids read, like, and I'm playing it in my head, I'm the one speaking out. It's like I'm reading it out loud, but in my head, and so I feel like a very slow reader.
Okay. Yeah. I was always a slow reader, but I also think what I learned once I got into reading, like, permanently, I'll say because I would pick it up and not like it, or pick it up and I'd finish a book and I'd be so proud of finishing the book, but then I, like, wouldn't read again for years, was just finding the joy in the reading. Because I would enjoy the book, but then I'd go to find something else, and I'd be lost in finding the next thing, and I didn't really wanna read the same exact thing, like, let's say I picked up a Nicholas Sparks book, I don't know that I wanna read the same romantic story again kinda thing. So I didn't start reading fast until later in life, but I have also, as someone who reads a lot just for reviews for customers and stuff, is I find if I'm not invested in a book, I'm, like, reading 3 sentences off the page,
Yeah.
but I'm also sometimes very shocked at how much I can gather from that based on story, like, having read quite a few stories is the amount of story I can still get out of it,
Yeah,
having
that's true.
not read. So, I know that there are people that skim.
Yeah. Well, in some books, it's just more fun to read slow, and you
Mhm.
savor it.
Yeah.
Books that I'm really anticipating the second in a series, or I'm really excited, I don't wanna read it too fast
Okay.
because then I'm gonna have a book hangover, which is the
Yeah.
worst.
Yeah.
I hate being in a book slump. I'd
Yeah.
love being able to get to a book, which is not great for my sleep habits, but to get to a book that I just wanna stay up later and read. And if I know it's taking me a long time to get through it because 'cause I'm just reading a half an hour and then going to bed.
Yeah. That's funny because I feel like for a lot of people, it's kind of the opposite.
Yeah?
Yeah, like, when we did the Brimstone release party when that came out
Oh,
last
you don't
year,
wanna.
and I think a lot of people just, like, the joke of, like, "I'm gonna take the day off work,"
Yeah,
and
and
they
you
wanna read it
binge
all
it.
in one day, and I think I did that with Iron Flame,
Mm.
and I instantly regretted it because I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh boy, now I gotta wait
It's
quite
a
a while."
tricky balance too,
Mhm.
because sometimes I will do the same because I don't wanna get spoiled,
Yeah,
because a lot of my work
is
is
but
online, and then
yeah,
people are gonna
content.
be saying stuff, but then I go back and I read it a second time slowly,
Yeah.
which also is hard to do when you have, like, a super long TBR list. You're like,
Yeah.
"I already read it, I don't wanna go read it again," but sometimes it's so worth it.
I think the only thing I've ever read twice was Harry Potter.
Really?
Yeah,
Mm,
but I'm too squirrely,
yeah,
like, and so I can rewatch a movie 100 times
yeah,
because it's only gonna take an hour to 2 hours of
yeah,
my time, and or I'm famous for multitasking.
mm,
I just wind up doing something else while I'm watching it.
yeah,
There's just noise in the background,
yeah.
so
I like to reread before the next book comes out, so often it'll be, like, a long time and I've
yeah.
already forgotten about it. Like, I've read Bridgerton series probably 3 times.
Oh my gosh. Do you read it right before the episodes come out?
Yeah.
I'm so
I
excited for
haven't this year,
Bridgerton.
though, and
Yeah,
the next season's coming out, I'm excited, but that one I've already read 2 or 3 times, and so I don't think I'm gonna read it again because I just wanna be kinda surprised. And also, it's so different than the
yeah.
books.
It now is.
Yeah,
I felt like the first one was a little more
on the nose, yeah.
on the nose with it, and then I can't say that they went in another direction, but I tell a lot of people, I love Harry Potter. I feel like I'm watching something and
Mhm,
reading something, and they're similar, maybe the same world, but they are very different.
mhm.
So I kind of feel like the same way about Bridgerton. And I know sometimes when it comes to like made for books to TV, a lot of people are super critical. I tell customers all the time my favorite thing to do is read the book next
Mm,
because if you watch it, then you're if you know if you like it or not, then you when they read the book, it's almost like getting that more.
the backstory.
Yeah, or if they've left something out, you have this extra thing
Yeah,
that other people don't know about, but also some people don't have the patience, like, if they've already watched it, they're not gonna read it, but
yeah,
personal
yeah.
joy in that.
It's hard. I'm both because I love to read the book first, but then often when you do read the book first, you're disappointed because they leave there's so much you can add. The,
Mhm.
like, the thought processes, the way
Oh,
somebody's feeling, their background, their backstory is just not in the show, and then they add little things, or you don't picture them as the same person.
yeah, that's true.
And I realize that a lot with audiobooks, which is a hard thing for me. If I don't like the person that's narrating,
Mhm.
their voice tone or something, and it's not the same, I don't love the book as much. And
Yeah.
I think it was a really great book. I just couldn't find that
Yeah.
interesting.
My best friend just sent me a thing about this. She's like it was like 10:30 at night too. She sends me a message and she's like, "I'm so excited for this book, but all I can picture" she's like, "All I can picture is the narrator as the main female character," and she's like, "I can't stand it."
Yeah.
So I went in and I was like, "Here's some," like and it was like AI photos or whatever, and I was like, "Here's some, like, gorgeously tailored, I don't even know what you need,
Mhm.
pictures of somebody that"
Picture
you know,
this.
it's like AI took a paragraph of the description of said character and created it right, so,
It had
uh,
6 fingers.
yeah,
Oh, AI.
AI is right.
Okay, I need to ask you some questions because you've
Okay.
asked me too many.
Oh, I am a question asker, we know that.
I know, but I'm really curious. This is a totally different topic.
Okay,
If you could eat one dessert for a year, what would it be?
ice cream.
Ice cream. What
Yeah,
kind of ice cream?
probably I'm gonna say chocolate chip cookie dough.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's nice.
I
I
don't
like
know
that.
that there's anything else that I could yeah, I remember being a kid and fishing out the cookie dough and, like, leaving a bowl like, a container of vanilla left for my family. I don't know. I think
Have you
yeah, of
have
all
you
the
tried
things
the
I
Ben& and
changed.
Jerry's one that's got, like, chocolate and vanilla and cookie dough in it? I'm lactose intolerant, so I
Yeah,
have their non-dairy
yeah.
version. I just finished a pint of that this weekend.
Oh my god.
It was so good. Has
I
little bits of cookie dough in it.
yeah.
It's
I
delicious.
love the half baked from Ben& and Jerry's because it's
Okay.
cookie dough and brownie.
Mhm.
I can't remember. Is that vanilla and chocolate ice cream? Honestly, it's been a minute
I need to
since
remember
I've
the
had
name of
it.
mine, but I'm gonna send it to you, and you're gonna tell me if you like it because it's
Yeah,
developed.
Ben& and Jerry's is probably an icon, top 10 icons in my life.
I love that.
You know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah,
kinda like Bob Ross. For me, Bob Ross and Ben& and Jerry's, they're brothers, all 3 of them.
I love that.
In my head, that's where it's at.
Yeah.
Squirrels and ice cream.
Squirrels.
Hair, it's the hair too, right?
Yeah,
I think they were probably best friends, all of them
probably.
together, yeah. We should look that up.
They
Uh,
fun fact.
yeah, or missed opportunity.
Speaking of, my next question for you is so
Okay,
on this, but what's something small that brings you an unreasonable amount of joy?
okay, ooh.
Because this just, like, hits that totally.
Well,
Bob Ross is number 1, but
yeah,
next,
something
unreasonable amount of
small
joy.
that brings me an unreasonable amount of joy. What's small?
Well, it doesn't have to be, like,
I also
physically
feel like
small.
in my brain,
You just
something that brings me an unreasonable amount of joy is big. Do you know what I mean?
so, example, I have gotten into I'm afraid to say this because it makes me feel really old, but that's okay. Old age is good. When you see little birds outside, they're
Okay.
very small. It's such a
Yeah,
small thing, but
yeah.
seeing birds just playing and, like, hopping around just gives me, like, an
So much
unreasonable amount
yeah.
of joy.
No, I don't think that's bad.
It's not
I get that.
logical,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Or, like, the people that you see walking around town that all of a sudden just have, like, very colorful, like, loud clothing on, and they're just living their best life.
Yeah, and they're
That
just
brings me an
joyfully there.
unreasonable amount of joy.
Yeah, like, you find that joy in
They're expressing themselves with so
their
much color.
confidence.
Yeah.
Even if they're not confident, they appear confident to you.
Yep.
I can see that. I would say the thing that brings me unreasonable amount of joy or a copious amount is talking to strangers.
Ooh.
Yeah, like, I think it was, I don't know, we're gonna call this 15, 20 years ago. I heard something that was like, "You never know what someone's going through," and so when I talk to strangers, I'm like, in my head, I have this made up story of, like, they were having a terrible day and I just made it.
Wait, that's not where I thought you were going with that at all.
Yeah, but I just
Made their day.
made their day, like, or
Oh, I love
I've
that.
totally derailed any negative thoughts they had, and now they're using me as a comparison model for I'm glad I'm not that lady.
Oh my gosh, stop. That's hilarious.
That's yeah, I because it does it because I also side note, surround myself with some people who can be very cynical of other people. I'm like, "You never know. I just made that guy's day." Like, so they're, like, in the background, and they're like, "That guy's crazy. Why does he this or that?" And I'm like, "I just made a new best friend with said
Yeah.
that guy."
Okay, wait, I love that so much. But I still need to ask you a few more questions.
Okay,
So
hit me
you
with it.
need to
Yeah, and for anybody listening, me and Sherry are just gonna keep asking each other questions, and you guys can just keep listening to the answers.
good, we needed that. Do you do you annotate your books, or are you more of a keep them pristine reader?
Pristine until a month ago.
Interesting, what changed?
Um, I hope I get this right. What's the guy's name from Peaky Blinders?
I'm seeing it, so I don't know. Fail.
Um, someone's, like, shouting his name
Fun
and
fact, I literally there's so many, like, really classic shows, TVs, like, movies I've never seen,
yeah.
which makes me feel like a terrible person.
No, it's not bad, but I, like, reference everything to TV. Like, my other book club jokes because I'll be talking about a book that I have read, but I've also watched the movie, and I'll merge
Yes.
the movie with the book, and then they're convinced I don't actually read, that I only watch the movies, and I'm like, "No, I swear I've read the book," but, like, the movie sits in my
Yeah,
brain.
yeah.
But gosh, I don't remember. I'm sorry, everyone. He's so gorgeous and, like, he's Scottish.
And it
I
has to
don't
do with
I think he's
annotating
Scottish. I'm
books.
probably gonna get that wrong too. So he did this clip when I was, dark hole in the internet on the social media, and he's, like, talking about how his grandfather used to like, when he bought a book, he'd write the date and the country he was in because this guy's from, like,
Ooh,
Europe. So,
okay.
he would write 1943, Germany, and
Oh,
then there was, like, more information and context to this particular gentleman, and he talked about, how that book also got, like, passed around, or his grandfather would be like, "Read this book," or he will read the book when prior to doing a movie, and then you get the, like, other people who worked with him have said, like, "Oh, I'd get this book and be, like, tattered." It would be super flexible because of how much it was just broken down and stuff
mm,
like that, and he talks about how the book itself is telling a story,
mm,
and I found that to be, like, a really beautiful thing that I've never given a book an opportunity to do.
mm,
So, for instance, we buy books for kids and we write, "Dear baby, whatever, I hope you enjoy this, blah, blah, blah." And 40 years go down the road and this book winds up in a thrift store and somebody picks it up and they open the book and it says, "Dear baby, whatever, I hope you enjoy this." And maybe someone cries because they're like, "Dear baby, whatever, didn't like the book enough to keep it," right? So it's in a thrift store. Or they're like, "How cool is this?" I opened a book that we've had for years, and it was a book written to an adult for his birthday, but it was a children's book, and the lady talks a little bit about how she's like, "Sometimes children's books are better than adult books," and it was, like, very prophetic, but I just thought about how special it is to write in books and to annotate in books, and I've seen so many other examples of annotation, and so just recently, I've started to try to annotate. I don't still do it, like, if I'm reading on an e-reader, I don't highlight and stuff because I also feel like that messes because mine will just tell me, like, 4,000 people have highlighted
So
this,
you're
and
like,
I'm
"Oh, that's
like
key. People need to know this." Yep.
but I'm also like, "Is it? Is it really?" Like, I'm
Conspiracy.
yeah, yeah, conspiracy theorist, but in that sense, when it comes to a paper copy, I realize how special it is to kinda, like, see paper copies take this journey through life, and all the people that they touch and all the different ways that people take the story in. And I think that's kind of cool, like
Yeah.
a cool way to send a book into the world if you're not going to keep it
Mhm.
is written on and scribbled and because it's almost like a little piece of you that goes into the world.
I have so many thoughts on this. First, I have a book for when I was a little kid that my parents got, and it's about this like elephant going through like a bunch of different chapters, and there's like songs in it, and I can't even remember what the name of it is. But the illustrator, somehow my mom got the illustrator to sign it and drew a little elephant in it. And so it's like 1987, the year I was born, and like to me and from them. And I really, really now want to go up and see if I can find this person. But it's
Yeah.
so cool, and my kids read it now, and it's just love. The second thing is my family, for some reason, I don't know where it start, but anytime that we give a book, a lot of we'll do for my nieces and nephews,
Uh-huh.
we'll write in them. And so a lot of our kids' books all have that in it. And
Something.
it's really fun because you're like, oh, this is from yeah, so and so.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. So I love that. And I think it's really fun to do for other people. When I was originally thinking of this question, I was thinking of the amount of, like, highlighting or, writing little
Yeah.
notes and
Tabs.
things, which in my being from law school, that's all you did. It was,
Okay.
like, constantly highlighting and annotating, and so now when I don't do that, I feel very much like the book is naked.
Yeah.
And in my e-reader, I have so many highlights because 'cause I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna save this, and I'm gonna come back to
Yeah.
that
Do you ever?
one time, never."
Yeah. Never. Yeah. That's
Although
maybe someone in the future will.
our question that started this whole thing about if you could have any dessert in the world came from
Yeah.
a glittering sky.
Ooh, is that a question they
Yeah,
ask in the book? I love that.
isn't that funny?
Yeah, I wanna circle back to that because you said miscommunication trope.
Yes.
Is this something you love?
No, I secretly don't like it because
Okay.
if people would just talk, so
I
many
right, okay,
things.
this could be my top loathed
Yes,
trope would be the miscommunication because 'cause I'm like
but there's reasons behind it,
right, for
and
sure.
so now I love it,
Yeah,
but I don't hate. I dislike it in so many books because it just feels like you guys
okay.
just get it together.
Side track.
Side quest.
This is the ultimate miscommunication trope that brought us together.
Mm.
Metal Slinger. Never have I ever been so miscommunicated my entire life.
Is that as much miscommunication trope, though, as much as just
What is the
hiding the
alternative trope?
I don't wanna spoil it for people.
Yeah, it feels miscommunicated.
Miscommunication to
Yeah.
me is like in North Wing, where it feels like Violet and Xaden are not telling each other
Okay.
things.
Which could also be same
Spoiler.
thing. Spoilers.
We're not gonna give
If
any spoilers at the moment,
if you're
but
reading Metal Slinger right now, I suggest you pause,
pause.
or we'll pause and we'll move forward with more discussion.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any more questions for me today?
Yes, I do.
Okay, cool.
Speaking of, what kind of book do you instinctively reach for? If you just walk into a shop, are you looking at covers? Are you looking at genres? Are you reading blurbs of all different kinds? What do you instinctively feel like, "Yep, that's got it."
Okay, are you ready for this? I don't think you're ready for this.
I don't feel ready.
Like any kind of book that exploits the food industry.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, that's
I've
literally
thought
my
about
top.
those.
Those are my top. I don't know why or where I think I know exactly where it started, but it's anything that's like where America or yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and say America because I don't know if everyone's being as bamboozled as we are, but like our food is so messed up and I felt this way for years. And I love those books because I feel like it's just like an educational read. And I honestly probably have always read educational books more often than fantasy,
Fiction.
fiction, nonfiction, like any of those. So I
Interesting.
really love anything that exploits the food industry. I also worked in the food industry, and that's when I learned how much I was like not a fan.
Yeah. Interesting. I
Yeah.
would not have picked up for you.
Yeah.
I have
Oh,
one more for you, though.
okay.
What is a moment in the shop that reminded you why you love what you do?
Okay. So I would say so. I'm a bookseller. We have a bookshop here in Oakdale.
Yeah. Good
Um,
background.
little backstory there. I was not a reader, and I've told a few people this. I was made fun of as a reader. I can remember the individual's name who teased me in, like, 1st or 2nd grade.
For not reading?
I will not call them out here, but it was, like, one of those scenarios where I'm, like, reading and I'm, like, jumbling words and they're, like,
Oh,
shouting over to, like, hurry me up and, just being a child and, like, going through that. So, like, scarred and checkered past. But when I opened the bookstore, I was, like, all about, like, adults love to read. This is gonna be fantastic. We're gonna sell books to adults. And then, me and Casey, who's our manager, we went to, Louisiana for Children's Institute, and I was like, "This will be good," 'cause I was like, "I don't know how to sell books to kids." Like,
mm,
that's just something. And through all of it, even going to Children's Institute, learning about the children book industry, learning about all of it. When the kids came in the store, I was like, "Wow, this is surprising." It almost like it was like bandaging any like, my ability to bandage any, like, hardship I had as a child reading, and also being able to relate to kids
mhm,
who don't like reading, who have parents who force them to read and they don't enjoy it, who have maybe they've got grandma or grandpa that's like, "You shouldn't read graphic novels."
mhm.
I don't wanna say, like, it's not my business to be anybody's parent, but I do feel a little bit more strong to say, like, "Hey, they're reading, let them read it. If
Yeah,
they're enjoying it, let
yeah,
'em." So, I think for me, a lot of it has been just watching the children in our community start to love reading. I think we had a mom in here, like, 3 months after we opened, and she was like, "I just had to get down here. Apparently, all the kids are talking about it on the playground, like, have you been to the new bookstore?" And I was like,
Oh,
"Oh, we're cool." But that was, like, just a magical moment because I felt like, "Okay, like, this is an opportunity where hopefully, maybe one day another kid doesn't have to have the same disdain for reading that I had for so many years."
yeah, yeah, it's interesting too because it feels like I grew up I loved to read, but not as much as now. I was in the whole millennial time of the Harry Potter phase. I never read Twilight, but I know that was, like, also
Mhm.
the, like,
Yeah.
big thing. And I didn't see my parents read a lot, but I knew my mom liked to read historical books in our house because I'm constantly working on art for books or I'm reading just throughout the day. It's become this thing where, like, I don't even feel like I'm telling them to do it so much as it's just like seeping into their lives. And they love going to the library. They love coming here. They love to your bookstore to be able to just be a part of all the worlds that you can create, that it's kind of wild to
Yeah.
see it just like you said, it just kind of starts coming, and if you let them read what they're interested in, it blossoms.
Yeah.
It feels like it's out of my hands, but it's so fun to go to school or to go to sports things and people be like, "Oh, what do you do?" Because they don't know me well,
Yeah.
and I kinda tell them that I'm in the art world, and they're like, "Oh, no wonder your kid's, like, always drawing, they're always doing this."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah, it's just kinda that's just what's naturally happening at home, and so that's what they're loving." And I don't know
Yeah.
if it's as much of our environment or they just, like, kinda have that in them too.
Yeah.
But it's really cool if you can set up an environment, how much it does grow, because a lot of kids don't have that kind of just happening
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
around them.
Well, and I think for me, one of the I always joke that, like, I overcraft and open a bookstore
Mhm.
because during my daughter's first few years, she was like a hellion, in her younger, like, baby phase, and it was, like, just a lot of work, so I read a lot more, and then I just really loved that's when I really got into like, reading stories and just digesting so many good books.
Mhm.
But one of the things I also shout out to Thousand Hours Outside podcast, Jenny Urich always says, like, "Your kids mimic you. Your kids mimic you. Your kids mimic you." And, like, it's so stuck with me, and I could be totally guilty of, like, doom scrolling or always on my phone, and the older my kids got, the more apparent that became of what it was they were noticing of what I was doing, and I was like, "Well, if I'm reading a book, like, and then they go read a book, it would never disappoint me."
Yeah.
Or if I'm drawing, and also, like, just turning off because there's so much stimulation for kids these days.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things I tell people all the time is the physical holding a book is like a slow down method. You cannot physically hold a book and even crochet a scarf or, for the crafters or even draw. Like you could do audio, there's so many different ways, but I think we really live in a time where we have to, like, consciously teach our kids slow
Yeah.
because 'cause they're, like, constantly like, even in class, this,
They're
that.
super
I don't
distracted.
remember having so much to do during the day, and I mean, even the teachers are like, "Okay, get them over here, get them over here, occupy, occupy, occupy." And so it's like they don't know what to do with nothing,
Right.
which is, I think, the most beautiful thing about reading is it teaches you that slowdown.
Yeah. And it just opens up a whole world of possibilities.
Yeah.
Our kids are not very well traveled. They are well traveled compared to other people, but in the sense that they can imagine being in this person's shoe and not necessarily fantasy, but just like being able to participate in different conversations because of what we're
Mhm.
reading. We go around the table at night, and we're often saying "Hello, Buffalo." Which have you ever done hello? No. So we say a hi for the day, a low for the day, and then a buffalo, which is something like that happened that day, something you did, something you learned, something funny that you saw, whatever it is. And it's so funny because it often somehow sneaks in something that's creative or something that's they read or there's just kinda creating this story behind it just because we're naming it, and without that whole little activity, I feel like I don't know, they wouldn't be, like, putting those little things together, you
Mhm.
know? Now I come home this morning, I shared on my Instagram, my kids are all of a sudden into creating comics in the morning, so they're,
Oh,
like,
well,
creating these little stories and, like, really stoked about it, but they're kind of, like, making little connections between things in reality and their made up worlds,
yeah.
which I just love seeing kids be creative.
Yeah. Well,
I
and
don't care
that's
if it's
beautiful
art,
because you're an
but
artist. Yeah.
yeah, but even if it's not artistic, if it's like they're being creative and solving problems, like you said, it doesn't seem like we have as much of the tendency to parent our kids in like brainstorming and solving.
Mhm.
There's a lot of I can't and wanting to change that language
Mhm.
to positive things.
Yeah.
This is not a parenting podcast by any means, but it's just a lot of that can come from books, whether it's the artwork in the books or learning about the authors who wrote it, or just kind of opening your eyes to they love getting recipe books and
Mhm.
trying new foods. And I'm like, heck yeah, if you want to go try that, let's do it.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder how many people will, like, do that.
What?
Grab recipe books because
Oh
I
yeah.
know, like, my
There's
big
some really fun ones.
yeah.
Like,
Well,
we found a
especially for,
Harry
like,
Potter
kids.
one,
Oh, that's fun.
and it's just like they're real recipes, and anyway, it's fun. I like it.
I love that.
I think I asked you all my questions.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you all for listening. Woohoo! We did it. Pilot episode 1 over and out. Thank you, everybody. Hope everyone has a lovely day.
I was looking off in the distance, but now
Yes.
I see.
Yeah. Here. Hi, camera.
I'm trying to see what